Hi everyone, so in this video I'll be talking about some composition basics, particularly the value structure. And I got the idea from this post pretty much directly from the Muddy Colors blogspot from Dan Dos Santos. He had a great post over there. I think it was a while back, maybe even a couple years ago, but I rediscovered it and I thought I'd help make it known and give it a little demonstration. So here's a value combos thing for like a single character. This was directly from the blog itself, and if you're depicting a single character, it shows a real nice way to just to arrange the values and make basically reinforce the silhouette and make the image read really well. Because basically, when you're illustrating something, it's just you generally think of the picture plane as the background, the foreground, and then the midground. And so arranging each one of those into assigning a value using the three value structure gives the image a real sense of depth. And within the value, like within the foreground value, you stick to similar ones. You don't make really high contrast within an area unless it's a focal point. And so now I'll overlay kind of how I planned out the values in this. And see, like within the darkest and the foreground, I'll kind of just stick to the dark values in there, and then kind of like value families. Like I won't go like 5 values beyond what's in each given plane. And so now I'll show you some examples. I have one here from Howard Pyle, one of his most famous paintings, Maroon. I mean, this image right here says it all. It's got such great narration and like a narrative element and everything to it. It just speaks for itself. And as you can see, he did the figure's the darkest, and it's against the background, the whole sky, which is the lightest part, and then the foreground's kind of gray, and it just really reads well, and it speaks for itself. And another example I have is from his student, N.C. Wyeth, and he used a different structure, and he kind of had more midtones for the background, and then kind of put the lightest areas on the main figure up front, and then he kind of surrounded them by the darker values to really make it read. And so that's just something to keep in mind when you're making your images, is really consider how you're going to plan out your values before you get into the painting. And when it just by restricting them, you really do reinforce the sense of depth, and it's really essential to making a good picture. Alright, and so before I get into the painting, I want to show you a few examples of what you can do to practice this. These are all from older works of mine, and it just shows you how I was going about planning out the values for scenes, and there's any number of ways to do it. And so I'll give you an example right here. First, I like to do the basic line drawing. And these literally, like once you have the line drawing done, planning out the values literally takes like 2 minutes. And in actual time, in 3 minutes, I did two different layouts for this, so I'll show you. And sometimes I just make a selection, but it's not important. But just trying, different lighting techniques, and it will serve as both a memory aid and a planning tool, and it will really just it should be a crucial aspect of your workflow. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you're into picture making of any sort, go out and do some thumbnails like this, do them in a sketchbook, do some markers over them, or bring them into Photoshop like this. And just make all I did was make a multiply layer above it and just started dropping in values over it, kind of see how the scene would plan out. Really easy stuff. So yeah, feel free, if you guys want, to email me what you did, and I could take a look at it too. Alright, now for the actual demo. And as you can see, in this piece I am opting to skip the value phase because I already have a pretty clear idea what I'm going to do, so I go straight into color, which is it's an interesting way to work. I kind of do a 50-50 between that and the value. It depends on how confident I am feeling about a given piece. This one's relatively simple. It's a single structure. It's not a massive city or a whole bunch of characters or anything. It's just a really simple piece. So that's the route I decided to go with it. And it already has even at this stage in really early, everything is reading just the way I want. Again, got a really dark in the foreground. I have the gateway here lit up, and then I constantly keep the background in about 50% value. Sorry, I was losing my voice here. And so I'm just, making selections and shifting things around to make sure I have everything composed properly. And at this stage, I'm using nothing but like the hard round and square chalky brushes to kind of plan this out. The second video, which I'll show in episode 2, which that will be all about kind of like texturing this scene up and adding some finer details using kind of like photo elements and custom brushes. But for now, it's just going to kind of be like, a loose concept painting. It'll get the job done, but it's not going to be the most pretty thing. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm playing with the ideas of, different trees and a little brook, and I don't know exactly where the stairs are going. It's all an illusion of space. I could have a brook run underneath it, or maybe some stepping stones to get over there. That's up to the viewer's interpretation. But yeah, nothing really to explain in-depthly at this level. I'm just kind of trial and erroring this. I'm keeping all the values in this dark area. It's hard to view from the actual video, but I'm keeping them, in terms like their intensity and stuff, I'm keeping them close together. Likewise with the background, and then the midground's a little more tricky because I kind of have the bright, lit stairway, and then the kind of rest of it fades into shadow a bit. So always trying to simplify things, although it never works out as well as I want it to sometimes. I struggle with that kind of area I'm working in right now for a while. I'm not really sure what kind of direction to take in, and I don't even think it fully takes off until the second video. Yeah, just doing, dabbing things around. It's really just trial and error to see, how I can get things to look, or, what works better than the other. I often have trouble making up my mind and choosing a direction to go in. And so now what I'm going to do is just fiddle with some of the details on the archway there and the gate, and then kind of adjust a lot of the lighting. Alright, yeah, I'm just about to wrap this episode up. Um, I took this, as you saw, I went through several different lighting adjustments. I was trying to, adjust the lighting so I could have it just perfectly what I had in mind. Um, Kind of like my intuition was telling me to add a lot more blues in it, and with the foregrounds and like magentas, like in the shadows. But I kind of wanted to keep it really like atmospheric with like heavy greens and yellows. So I'm gonna go with it, and see what the client says about it. But I'll hope for the best. And see, I'm still just glazing in colors to playing with different possibilities. It's easy to see what you don't like. I know that much. And that pretty much wraps this one up for now. I will be polishing this up in the next episode, so be sure to come back. This is Tyler Edlin, and thank you for watching my tutorial on value planning. Hi everyone, so thanks for watching my new show, and I hope you enjoyed the new layout, or the format I have for it. I want to constantly improve upon the content I deliver and the method I do it. So I'd love your feedback, so leave a comment in the space below, or head over to my Facebook. You can contact me just as easily there, and let me know what you think. I'll include, in the future down the road, lots of drawing and painting tips, illustration techniques, reviews for like art books and maybe software, and maybe do some artist interviews too. So you might want to subscribe. I have a lot of content planned in the future. I just want to make the best channel I can and reach out to you guys. So thanks for watching and subscribing, and take care.